Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be hitting the subject that took place in the rural area of San Diego County. And this particular story consists of what I believe, what I could only describe as, I guess, kind of grooming from the details that I've received. And I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but when you're assigned to a particular station in San Diego for the Border Patrol, some stations require you to drive over an hour to your actual patrolling area. So you have that much time. You have an hour to get to your designation and an hour to get back to your station. So you're pretty much traveling quite a bit of a distance. So that can actually give you an advantage of how to kind of say it of breaking off to do something real quick either at your house or to use a restroom, one of your favorite spots for a restaurant or etc. So you have that little leeway of quite a bit of a time frame, which you can make up easily, especially with your lights on. So this particular area, I did not. I never. I worked a few times, but I cannot really adapt to surroundings and the way they set up their surveillance gear. I didn't really catch on. For some reason, I could not understand the actual layout, and I'm pretty good. I was actually pretty good at actually with landscaping, but this particular one area, I just couldn't do it, and they understood. But my team was out there also, and same thing we were doing out in other stations. But I don't know exactly what happened with this agent, but to tell you the truth, I have heard firsthand of a group of young, I guess late teenagers, early 20s, discuss the fact that one of their friends was about to go through to be working at the border and was about to clear his background. Now, I don't know if they were just blowing hot air or just horsing around or whatever, but they actually mentioned straight out that this was going to be their ace, that they were all going to work together and smuggle contraband with the help of this particular friend. And I guess I don't know if I should use the word grooming, but that's the only word I could actually associate with of the actual the agent going through the academy and the agent going through the actual background and all that. So they have the insight to actually penetrate through the border. And when stuff like that happens, you know, I was on vacation at the time, and somehow my friends uh, made contact with these guys, and I don't really know how or what, but when once you hear that, I just walk away. I was taught through training, if you're at a party and something illegal is going on, don't try to be the hero. Don't try to stop it. Don't try to puff your chest out. Get your things together and just, if you feel that uncomfortable, just leave. Just walk away from the situation and just don't get into trouble trying to do something that's not really your responsibility. If you're that concerned, call 911, have them come over, take care of it. I wasn't on duty. You're not on duty 24 hours. And that's the way I was, just trained. And so as soon as I heard that, and I kind of walked away. Well, actually, I walked away and I didn't think anything of it. Now, back to this agent here. This agent here had the actual, he preferred to do transport. And transport, like I explained in earlier videos, all they do is just complete calls from agents that have apprehensions, so that way you can take them back to get processed. That's all you do, back and forth, back and forth. You could be busy one night, or you could have not one pickup. And just how I bring these stories, kind of, a little bit of excitement and everything, it was also very, very boring at some point with only AM stations available at the time. And so when you're back and forth, you're always on the move. And in between these hour-long drives to get to your destination to work, sometimes there are checkpoints that are manned by Border Patrol and Border Patrol only. They have all the logistics, they have everything they need to actually sustain a checkpoint 24 hours. So when stuff gets through either port, they have another chance of actually intercepting it and catching it. So my team was out there and they were conducting surveillance and everything. And one of my team members spots this agent in his government vehicle, and he seems like he's doing something physical, but on the opposite side of my teammate's equipment. He was on the opposite side, so he knew something was actually going on down there, and there was something physical going on, but he didn't know quite. He wasn't quite sure what it was, so he was actually concerned, and we had an option to actually change the channel and call a supervisor and says, "Hey, can you go to channel so and so?" And then they'll respond to you there. That way, you can have more of a private conversation. So he explained to him what he was seeing and what he was witnessing. So uh, he was concerned maybe that he was beating somebody up. My friend actually thought he was beating somebody up with the movements that he was making and the back and forth, and it was just too physical for him to be down there by himself. So either he was getting hurt or actually he was hurting somebody. So by the time the supervisors actually got to his location, he was gone already. He already hit the main highway. So the actual supervisors, they tried to actually, well, they tailed him until they catch up, but he already had crossed that checkpoint and he was on the way back. So he was going somewhere. So the supervisors light him up. They light him up, and he pulls over and he's like, "Hey, you okay? Is everything cool?" And he says, "Yeah, that's fine. Everything's fine." And they look inside his vehicle and they find bundles of green, bundles and bundles, bundles. So they're like, "Where did this come from?" And so the agent goes, "Oh, I came across it over there. I'm just taking it back to the station to process it." And the supervisor goes, "Well, that's not protocol. Why didn't you call it in?" And he says, "Well, it's just easier for me to go process it." He goes, "Why didn't you just process it at the checkpoint? You got plenty of bodies there to process it, even do the paperwork for you. You know what's up?" And, and that he already had gave his statements to the supervisor, so the supervisor can't beat it out of him or beat it out of you to get to the right answers. All you can do is make that call. And to internal affairs, and they'll take it from there. And it's better that way. That way, if the supervisors were in the wrong, there would be animosity between the agent and the supervisors. So it's better to have them contacted. That way, you don't have to look bad. You don't have to look bad or actually look like you're bullying somebody. People get sensitive sometimes. So now, internal affairs starts doing the background, starts doing conducting all kinds of investigations, and the numbers didn't add up for this young. He was a young agent too, young single agent, pretty big house out in the country, and uh, plenty of toys, as you can see in the picture. Plenty of toys, and you can see the other illustration too. The yellow lines, them are the what he would do is, sorry, I missed the whole story. So the organization bringing over the bundles, they would just communicate with him and bring it across, dump it, and take off back south. And then he would do the rest, take it to the appropriate location. I assume it was his house because it was the closest thing to there. And like I told you from the beginning, so he has certain gap amount of time to actually get some stuff done. So just by having that time frame of driving to your work site, he got this little side job that he was doing. He had enough time to do it. So now they start going through all his belongings and everything, and a few agents had been to his house and barbecued, and he would always invite. He was also an open invitation to his house because he had everything. He had everything there: pool table, swimming pools. He had everything you wanted there. So that was always up open house, basically. And the agents that did take him up on it stated that he had told them that he had inherited money from a family member, and they just took him for his word. Because why wouldn't you take him for his word? You know what I mean? He has the actual the the motorcycles, the off road trucks, boats, and everything. He has the actual toys. So why wouldn't you believe him? But the only thing is that when that happens, you inherit money either before you get hired by law enforcement or after you're actually working for law enforcement. If you inherit money, you have to report that, and that report goes to internal affairs, and internal affairs goes and reviews it with the IRS. And additionally, the money that he was making smuggling, actually just picking up the loads and taking it to a destination, the money he was earning from there has to be reported to the IRS. By law, if you accept any kind of bribe, either you be in law enforcement, you're a politician, you need to report your bribe earnings to the IRS. So they get their cut. That's actually true. So yeah. So if you're taking bribes and that money that you make, you gotta set aside a little bit percentage because when you get caught, you gotta report it. So you're gonna be short on there too. So from what I was told, it was actually relatives of his that were actually crossing the actual bundles across, and he was just finishing the last lap. And I don't know what he was thinking, and I don't even know how our team got to spot him, but I think they were doing some moving around or something. But it was actually a hard place. It was pretty dense, and it was on a hill, a lot of hills that pretty dense. So it was very confusing to me. So that's just another one there. And thanks, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.